Caroline, can you still remember the first time that you ever heard the two letters PH one after the other?
I can. I was working for my own business. It was called Out of the Box Administration. I'd been asked to quote for doing some work for a charity. I'd never heard of the charity. I'd never heard of the condition, and to me it was a whole education, I guess, into pulmonary hypertension.
And half a dozen or so years later, you're still here.
I'm still here. It's got to be 7 years now I've been involved with the charity, and I've been employed by the charity for 3 years.
So there was no one in your family that suffered from PH?
No, we're very fortunate. We haven't got anybody in the family that suffer from pulmonary hypertension.
So why is it that you're still here?
I think, like everybody, anybody that gets involved with the charity will tell you exactly the same. It's a lovely community. It's more than a job to me, and you get to know a lot of the families, you get to know a lot of the carers, and obviously all the medical professionals you work with. You do become emotionally involved with people, and it does become much more than a job.
So how do you deal with the emotion of it? I watched your face when you were telling someone earlier on today that someone else had died, someone else that had belonged to the PH family.
I don't think it's anything you could ever get used to. I think from our point of view, I'm not going to be embarrassed to say, I'll still, for me, go through a bereavement period. I'll go to the toilet and have a cry if I need to. And I would say that to anybody, any of the staff here. You are going to get involved with people, you're going to get to know them very well. We get to meet them at lots of events, and I think we just have to be real about it. These are real people, real lives, and we do get involved with them, and there's nothing, about that you can change. So
the chairman described it as a bit of a battle with the war not yet won.
Yeah, I mean, we've still got a long way to go. We fought nice and we won. There's always going to be rumblings from other commissioning groups, and there's always going to be somebody that thinks the drugs are too expensive. And who's to say that treating cancer or other conditions is more important than treating PH? And that's what we've got to do. We've got to fight for our members and their right to live.
The weekends away, the fun days, seem to be a big part of it. The ones that we were involved in when it came to that was a lot of fun.
They're the sort of events that make everything worthwhile. There's something that we all look forward to on our calendar. And the same for the conference. The conference is a good event. It's for the adults with the condition. And again, it's a social environment for them to mix with other people and to become involved with lifestyle sessions and try things that they might not have tried before themselves.
It must be nice for children in particular, who I would imagine for most of the time live a life with as if they feel people are looking at them all the time. To be with a group of people that look and feel the same as them must be kind of nice.
It's really important, and all the children that I've ever met will say, Caroline, it's just brilliant to feel normal. All the other children here are on oxygen, same as me. They might have a cannula in, they could have a pump fitted, and it's all about body image for a lot of these children. And to see an older child or a teenager that they look up to wearing a body pump or wearing a pump or being on oxygen is really important. And it's really good that the older children and the teenagers are still involved and really do show the younger children, and they are really encouraging as well with them.
It is kind of sad, isn't it, that body image is so strong in children so young?
It is, but it's natural, isn't it? Everybody will look at somebody who looks slightly different, and children will stare. Some adults who are quite rude will stare as well. And I know a lot of our members have said, if I could just have something to say, I've got this condition, it's a serious condition, show me a little bit of respect, because a lot of people might pull into a blue badge space, will say, they get a lot of grief from other members of the public, and they just say, I'd like to have something to say, this is what I've got a serious condition, don't prejudge other people, and, sometimes just have a little bit more patience with people and to think a little bit before saying something. Yeah,
because with some people you can't tell.
You can't, no. Some people on a good day will look really well, and you wouldn't know that they've got a serious lung condition.
Do people find it difficult to join the PH Association?
I think that's really on the individual. I would say a lot of people don't, and they relate to the association really well. They feel that the association is a good source of information for them, and the fact that they get to meet a lot of other people as well, and it's a good sort of support network for them. Others It's like everything. Some people don't want to meet anybody else that's ill. They might think that they're going to look as ill as somebody else or follow the same path, and it's not the case with PH. It is a very individual condition.
How do people normally come in contact with you?
A lot of the specialist centres are brilliant at getting people to join our association, so we've really got a lot to thank them for. And then people will just find us by chance on the internet, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook.
And what about the role of trustees in your organisation? Are they easy enough to find?
I think we've got the perfect balance as it is now, and I don't necessarily think anybody joining would be an advantage. I think at the minute the trustees are all very dedicated, very hard-working, and they do bring lots of different qualities, and I think that's really important. And I think sometimes if you try to add to that, you can actually just take away from it really, because the more people making decisions, sometimes the harder it is.
So are all the trustees people that have PH?
No, some of them are medical professionals. Ian's a medical professional who started the association with Kay Hewitt. Kay's son has got PH, and we have got another couple of patients who are trustees.
Would you like more people to become members?
I would always encourage people to join the association. It's really important. It gives us a bigger voice if we're campaigning, and that's always got to be really important for us.
I guess one of the things that people might say is that it's not a real disease.
Well, you try to tell that to somebody who's been diagnosed with pulmonary hypertension, and you follow somebody around for the day who's got that condition and just see what they have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, whether it's taking lots of tablets, being on inhaled iloprost, having a pump fitted and having to have a Hickman line, or just being on oxygen overnight. I mean, it has a huge impact on their lives, what they can do and how they live with the condition. And I think, again, it's really important that we get that message across. It is a serious condition.
Are you getting enough help from the community, from the government?
We don't get any help from the government. We never have. The only support we get from the government is in the form of gift aid, which all charities are entitled to. We do apply for grants and we are sometimes successful. And again, it's one of the things, our members are brilliant at fundraising, and that's really where we get our funding from.
And your relationship with members of the government, do you have one?
We have had in the past. We've done quite a lot of campaigning and had really good relationships, and it's something that we need to do now. There's a new government, we need to sort of lobby again and set up an all-parliamentary group.
It must be horrendous for a family to hear the news that a child or a member of their family has PH. When they first contact you then, what are some of the things that you talk about, do and say with them?
I think really the most important thing has got to be to get up-to-date and real information out to them. A lot of people still go on the internet, they'll find information from the States that's 10 or 20 years out of date, and such a lot has happened in that short time that it's really important that they see that the changes are there, there's some really good treatments, and in that space of time things have changed dramatically.
So do members of the association ever just drop in and say hello? Because I would imagine for some people you're just a voice.
A lot of people do come to the office and it's lovely. A lot of people do fundraising for us and they want to pop in with the money, and they always stay for a cup of tea, a cup of coffee and a sticky bun. So, we do encourage people to come and say hello, and it is lovely when they do.
Do people get angry with the association?
Yes, sometimes. Sometimes I'll be really honest, I feel my hands are tied, We can do so much, but we can't do everything that we would like to do. And I think one of the things I struggle with personally, and I know the office would probably say the same, is when somebody phones up and they need emotional support and it's not available for them. They would go to their GP and they would be told, well, basically you can have help in 6 months to a year, but for somebody who needs help, they need it now. They don't need it in 6 months to a year. They need the emotional support when they're diagnosed, and it's just not available. So if we had the money, that's what I'd like, for us to be working with.
So you must have seen a bit of change over the last 4 or 5 years. Is there one change that stands out above another?
I don't think so. I think it's just been a natural development. We've written a lot more publications. Ian, our chairman, has been involved and done a lot of the work on most of those. And I think they've been important. And we spent a lot of time needing things like that and not having them because of NICE. We wasted 2 to 3 years fighting a process that we shouldn't have had to do and spent a lot of money and resources on that. So we were really firefighting and catching up where the association should have been 2 to 3 years before that.
One of the things that managers often say is sometimes you're only going to get 30 seconds to put your case to a prospective boss or to a prospective sale. So if you needed to sell the PH Association in just a few seconds, what would you say?
I'm not sure I would say anything. I think I would give them some images, perhaps something from one of our events, some of the children, and I think images probably say more than 1,000 words could ever do. I'll probably show them one of our children, you know, with his cannula or with a pump and just sort of happy, smiling, getting on with life, and I think really that's it. They're getting on with their lives, they're enjoying every day that they can, and I think that's more important than trying to put it into words.
Carolyn, thanks.
Thank you.